Guten Tag and hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Märklin Outsider. I'm Anthony Dodge, and this being our last episode of the year 2019, I just want to say to everyone out there, Frohe Weihnachten und Guten Rutsch. And for those of you who don't speak German, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I want to wish you a happy end to the year 2019 and a strong beginning to the year 2020. And enjoy whatever holiday you might be celebrating at this time, if you celebrate any. Okay, today's episode really is just about wishing everybody out there a very pleasant, very Merry Christmas to those that celebrate, as I said. But I want to also do a quick introduction to this locomotive over my shoulder. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I had one viewer specifically ask, and a couple other people have expressed curiosity into this. Now, many Märklin people know what this is. Obviously, many don't. This is simply an infrared controller. This is probably the lowest end, and I don't mean that in quality, just it's the most basic controller for a Märklin system. This comes, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, please don't think I'm belittling anything. This comes with their starter sets that tend to be aimed at young children, let's say the 8 to 12 range. But Marklin BR offers some really nice looking trains in that range that you say, that's a train I want, and it just happens to come with this controller instead of an MS2. It's real easy to get an MS2, Mobile Station 2, and connect that to your track instead if you want to upgrade and have really good digital control. This is analog or digital, and somebody just got a train set that they really like. They're getting into Märklin trains and wanted me to kind of go through this. I will be filming this now that I have a couple of weeks of time off here at the end of the year. I will be filming a video explaining this for you the best that I can. I obviously have one. It came with a locomotive I bought, the Jim Knopf and Lucas der Lokomotivführer train set that I bought, put in my classroom. For those who don't know, in English it's a story called Jim Button and Lucas the engine driver. It's a very famous German story. It's written by the same gentleman who wrote the book The Never Ending Story, which became a very popular movie in the late 80s, early 90s, The Big Long Flying Dog. Written by the German writer Michael Ende. And it's a beautiful little story, but it's also filled with a lot of hidden meaning and stuff. But my students in level 1 watched the movie. It's all in German, although you can get English subtitles. But anyhow, and so I bought that kit to put in my classroom. It came with this, and this is a little, to be honest, I personally find if you're running one train, this is great. It runs the system you said, it's preset to do it, you're all good. I just find the Mobile Station 2 a nice upgrade. So when you have the 70 to 100 euros, about 85 to 120 bucks to get a Mobile Station 2, I would say just get that because it will allow you to do a lot more with your train, and if you add trains, it just becomes easier. You can run multiple trains with this, but it's a little more detailed. I'll explain that in the video. What I'm here to talk about is that locomotive behind me. That is a Baureihe 146.5. Now, Baureihe simply means class. Literally, it means building row, but that's the German way of saying what class of locomotive it is. It's a class 146 and a half, 146.5, and the class 146.5 specifically is used in this particular livery, this white with a red stripe, and I'll give you a close-up version. It's used to run the IC2. So if I twist, you can see I've got an IC2 train there, the Intercity 2. This locomotive is kind of special. I did have one, actually an old Brawa, which actually I'm going to be selling on eBay or somewhere soon because I've replaced it with that one. But this is a real nice one as well. The first locomotive my wife bought me, but she's given me permission to sell it. Anyhow, we bought this train, this locomotive, back in June when we were in Germany. We were in Hermann's Spielwarenladen, Hermann's toy shop, in Oberwesel, Germany, which is on the Rhine, near Koblenz. In fact, the very first model train car I ever bought, I bought in 2015 at Hermann's shop in Oberwesel. I was there with my students as part of an exchange program, and we were visiting the Rhine area. And I went in looking just for a couple of model locomotive cars that I could put in my classroom, which is how this whole hobby started 4 years ago for me. But anyhow, so we were there again in 2019, and I wasn't necessarily planning on buying this, but they had it. And I had kind of, by the time we went to that shop, if somebody had it, I really wanted to see it. And the wonderful people at Hermann's, they took it out, they gave it a test run for me, they ran through everything. But what sealed the deal, even for my wife, was a particular announcement function it has on there, which said, we've got to have this for our layout. But so we bought this. And when I bought it, I even mentioned in my other show's video from Germany that I was planning on doing an unboxing video. I never did it. I got home, did some other things, went to work on my layout, which I've never shown in this show, but if you're curious about what little I have on my layout, check the other show, the Märklin, the Model Train Outsider. Anyhow, so we bought this and I was going to do an unboxing video and never did. So I thought today, along with wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and whatever else to everyone, I thought I'd finally go ahead and show this off a bit, and maybe down the line I'll show off some of my other trains, but just kind of do a go through with this and then maybe let you see it run around the track with everything. It's a very cool train, both the locomotive and the matching Intercity 2 cars that go with it. So let's look at the video and let you see my 146.5 up close.
So here we got the camera set up, and the first thing we're going to do is just make sure the lights are working. So when we hit the lights, there we go, the forward traveling lights, as well as the destination lights up here. Get my little cheap pointer. And if you can see that, it says Leipzig Hauptbahnhof. And as I mentioned, my wife and I actually rode the train pulled by this exact locomotive, though, 146575. All right, let's just check that the reverse direction lights are working. And voila, there they are. Let's try some of the sound functions to see how well the sound functions are, in fact, working. So let's fire up the engine first of all. All right, so the engine sounds are working. We'll cut those off. And there are indeed many, many functions that go with this. I don't want to run through them all. That's another little. But we have cab lights and brights and everything work on this as well. But what I want to share with you is a couple of the other sound functions. We have, of course, the whistle. And then we have announcements.
Meine Damen und Herren, auf Gleis 2 erhält jetzt Einfahrt der IC 2035 nach Leipzig Hauptbahnhof. Bitte Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
So you have that announcement there. And again, there's 23 light and sound functions on this train. It's really awesome. On this locomotive. I'm sorry, I keep saying train. So let me show you the one reason we decided to pick this one up. There's more than one reason, but this is what sold it even to my wife. As the gentleman at Hermann's Spielwaren, at Hermann's Toy Shop there in Oberwesel, was going through this with us, he started going through all the functions. And one of the functions is a sound function, an announcement announcing what stations you are arriving at. So let me play those through and then explain why it was sort of like the final straw that, yes, we had to get this station.
Nächster Halt Norddeich.
Norddeich is the last stop going north for this particular train, the line 2025.
Nächster Halt Emden Hauptbahnhof.
It goes then to Emden.
Nächster Halt Leer.
Leer, which is the next stop.
Nächster Halt Bad Zwischenahn.
Bad Zwischenahn is a tiny little spa resort town on a tiny little lake, which Bad means little spa or pool area. Bad Zwischenahn. The next one will be Oldenburg.
Nächster Halt Oldenburg Hauptbahnhof.
And now comes why we bought this train.
Nächster Halt Delmenhorst.
In case you missed it, it said nächster Halt, next stop, Delmenhorst. Delmenhorst is the city that I started traveling to Germany with. I had an exchange program in the city of Delmenhorst, and my layout is actually based on the city of Delmenhorst. I built the actual Delmenhorst train station, and down in the middle here, I've been building the Delmenhorst bus center, which is in front of the station, and gradually I will be building the city of Delmenhorst here. I am in the earliest of early stages. Nothing here is as it should be other than just to have a village, but I will be building, hopefully this summer, I'll be building the Delmenhorst Town Hall and Market Square and the water tower. But Delmenhorst is a city that I spent the month of June in for basically 15 years doing an exchange program, and developed many friendships there and just had so many amazing times. I discovered Germany through this little town of Delmenhorst. So when this train announced that it's stopping at Delmenhorst, that was like, we've got to get this. It was so funny. My wife was, you've got to get that train. So that really is the final reason we bought this. My Brawa is an amazing, wonderful, very beautifully detailed, but it doesn't announce Delmenhorst. This one has a little bit more sound and light functions than my Brawa, although my Brawa has a lot of functions. But those additional announcements and some of the little things they do with this just made me very interested in it. And it had been sold out in shops everywhere in Germany. And then we walked into Hermann's in Oberwesel, and lo and behold, he had one still in the box, his last one. And the gentleman was just so awesome and ran it through. And when it announced Delmenhorst, we're like, yeah, we're getting it. There's no question. We're buying it now. Thank you. We'll take it. So that is just a very nice detailed look at this amazing, amazing locomotive. So let's look at the other half. This is the newly released, they came out last year, set of cars, the Märklin IC2 cars. Now, Märklin released a set of cars in 2016, the same year this train went into service, but they were their cheapest end cars. They didn't light up. They didn't have anything special to them. They had the black windows. These are currently turned off, so you don't really see the lights inside, but I'll get to that in a minute. But these were cars 43481 to 43485. And if you watch my other show, there was a long story about the last car, the Steuerwagen. I wound up getting it 6 months later than I should have. it was really weird because normally Märklin will release 3 cars in a set, and then you can buy 1 or 2 additional cars to create the final consist. But Märklin also did something unique with this, and I will pull these around and try to explain it in a moment. Okay, so this is the Steuerwagen, control cab or control car, for the new set, the 2018-2019 consist of the IC2. Now again, Brawa released a series of cars last year as well, which again, I would say are probably slightly better than the Märklin. They just have more functions. They're also at 100% 187 scale, where Märklin's vehicles are at 193rd scale. Märklin shrinks the length of its car so that they can still do the Märklin Radius 1 curves, which are so prominent in all of Märklin's startup and expansion packs. There's a lot of people that just like to see Märklin get rid of the Radius 1 curves. They're just too tight for a lot of the long, modern passenger cars, as well as some of the really long locomotives. Märklin compensates by shortening their cars, but other companies like Roco and Brawa and Pico will make their passenger cars at full 100 scale. That's a bit of contention. Even people like me who love Märklin, let's make them full scale. But anyhow, this is the Märklin IC2 control car, and there was a lot of hassle coming here. But Märklin did something I've only seen once before with this. And what they did was, normally your locomotive, which is up there now, has a switch to it that when you connect these cars, which light up, they have interior lighting, it controls the lighting here. Instead, Märklin put all the controls for the added cars onto the IC2 Steuerwagen here. So let me show you the controls for this, and you'll see what I mean. By the way, you can see here are all the functions for my 146 locomotive, and then here is the IC2 Doppelstock, which means double-decker control car. And if I can move this, you can see that it has light controls, destination, cab lights, interior lighting. That's what that little chandelier looking, let me get my finger over here so you can see it. That's what that little chandelier is. That's interior lighting. So I'll go back over and hit these buttons so you can see what they do. But it is very cool. We'll turn on the direction lights, and as you can see, they light up nice and bright. Switch directions. All good. Even the high beams, check out. The directional light sign comes on. You can see that there. Came on. And I think you can see along the side here, all the lights light up. That's the thing that's unique. The control wagon literally controls the other cars. So let me turn the lights back on. You can see they lit up inside, including the directional thing and the IC 2035, the train my wife and I rode to Leipzig in 2017. So it's all controlled by the Steuerwagen instead of the locomotive. This has its own chip in it, its own pickup to pick up the third signal on the C-track nubs here, the third rail. So really quite a nice looking train. So let's see it run real quick. All right, so there it goes into the Delmenhorst station, and coming out, we'll let you catch it coming around the side here. Whoops, there we go. And we'll give it a second and let it come back around the other side. Alright, so here we are, watching it go around, and that's a little look at the Märklin IC2.
Okay, so there was a look at my BR 146.5 locomotive, as well as the IC2, Intercity 2 cars that Märklin made to go with it. What is so special about this particular model and why I have it over the Brawa is that the locomotive and the cars are the exact ones my wife and I rode on in 2017 when we were going to Dresden. We took this train to Leipzig and then we picked up another IC2 train from Dresden, or from Leipzig to Dresden. So that train's very special to us. Now, I did say at the beginning of this video that this is my last outsider video of the year. However, you can see that IC2 and a few more of my trains in my running sessions. I have an older video of when I got my IC2, so you can see more of it running around. But also, I will be releasing this week my December running session, my winter running session, where I like to run a bunch of seasonally colored vehicles, let's say, to go with the season. So, one last time, I would like to say to everybody, Frohe Weihnachten und Guten Rutsch, which is Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you don't celebrate a particular holiday, whether it's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or what have you, then just hopefully your 2019 ends wonderfully for you and 2020 starts off even better. So until then, I will say Auf Wiedersehen and Tschüss and happy trains.